All right, Algebra crew, we are doing section 11.4, which is adding and subtracting rational expressions. And this is just like adding or subtracting any kind of fractions. All right, when you are adding or subtracting, you need to have a common denominator if they are not already the same. And also with your denominators, if they are the same, then those are not going to be changing. Okay, so I'm going to do a few problems here. I'm going to do the first three problems on on page 687, and we can just see how it works. A couple of them are easy. All right, so for number one, we have 4 over x minus 7, and that is added to 7 over x minus 7. All right? Well, this is very easy. We have common denominators already, x minus 7, x minus 7. So when we're adding these two rational expressions together, all you need to do is add the numerator. All right? All you need to do is add the numerator. So your final answer is 4 plus 7, which is 11, all over x minus 7, because that is what your denominator was. All right, so that would be your final answer. All right, now let's look at number 2. All right, so for number 2, we have 9 over 2y plus 4 minus 5 over 2y plus 4. All right, now once again, we have common denominators here. So we can just go ahead and subtract the numerator. So 9 minus 5 is 4 all over 2y plus 4. All right, there is one more step, though, that you have to do, okay? So we have to factor a 2 out of this denominator. So it becomes y plus 2, all right? Because the 2 will then cancel with 2 of the 4 in the numerator. So your final answer is actually going to be 2 over y plus 2. So make sure when you're doing these problems, like the first one, we couldn't do anything. That thing was as simplified as possible. The second one, we had to simplify it more once we got our answer. So make sure you do that, all right? And actually, I want to do problem number 14 as well. So problem number 14 on the same page, it says 2y plus 1 all over y minus 1. And we are subtracting y plus 2 all over y minus 1. So once again, we have common denominators here. Okay, we have a common denominator. With this problem, all right, our common denominator is y minus 1. That's not going to change. But in the numerator, we have 2y plus 1. Now, we are subtracting this entire quantity. So both terms are going to change the signs. So the positive y becomes a negative y, the positive 2 becomes a negative 2. And then we can figure this out. So 2y minus y, that's y. 1 minus 1, I'm sorry, 1 minus 2 is negative 2. So we have y minus 1 over y minus 1. Well, what do you think is going to happen there? They cancel. Your final answer is 1. The key there is to remember to change the signs on the y and the negative 2, or positive 2. All right? All right, now let's do number 3. Number 3, they say 4 over 6b squared plus 5 over 8b cubed. All right, now how the book does this, and I'll show you how to do it that way. All right, the book tells you to list all of your prime factorization of both of your denominators. So this is going to equal 2 times 3 times b times b. Because we're trying to find our least common denominator here, okay? And then down here we have 2 times 2 times 2 times b times b times b. All right? So all of the terms, and there's a great example in your book on how they did this on page 685, problem number 3. They show you how they do this. Okay? So what we now do is list all of the terms here. So we have a 2, all right? We have another 2, another 2, we have a 3, and then we have 3 b's. All right, so what does this equal? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24, and then 3 b's. So our least common denominator here is 24b cubed. And that's what we're going to be using up here, okay, when we're doing this problem. So this 6b squared becomes a 24b cubed. And how do you get from 6b squared to 24b cubed? Well, you multiply by a 4b, right? You're multiplying by a 4b, all right? So I need to multiply the numerator by a 4b. So in the numerator, I now have 16b. And this denominator is also going to be 24b cubed. So how do I get from 8b cubed to 24b cubed? Well, I multiplied by 3. So 3 times 5 is 15, right? And so now when we add together, remember, we're only adding the numerator together. So 16b plus 15, well, that's 16b plus 15. You can't do anything with it. There's no like terms. All over 24b cubed. So that would be your final answer right there. All right. Hopefully this helped. Make sure when you're doing least common denominator, you do like a tree kind of a thing like that. All right. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy, and we're in our last couple weeks here.